Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. Now we're going to do a rehouse today of a really cool spider, and it is one of the Macrothele, and this is the Macrothele raveni. Now these are obviously a funnel web. It's the Macrothele family of funnel webs. Now these guys come from Europe, and they are classed by all information, and there is very little information about these guys. There just isn't much at all, and they're classed as quite a large one. So there's a picture, I think it was a spider shop brought them in, and there's a picture of one on someone's hand, and it was literally like this size. So that's a big spider. They're getting up there with a gigas, same sort of thing. Now as I say, there is very limited information on them. Now we got these along with some Yanni as well that came in a collection, and which, to be honest, was one of the reasons I went for the collection, because I do like them, the Macrothele. And so we got 4 of these, and we've also got 4 Yannis as well. And we thought they came in these enclosures here. Now one of the big problems that seemed to come around when they first came through was the fact of the lack of webbing. They just seemed to refuse to web. Now there is a little bit of limited information which says that they live in like cliff faces and things like this, where they make use of crevices and tree roots and stuff like that. So anywhere where there's tight spots, they seem to be able to get into, and then they use their webbing outside in order to catch prey. Now from what I've seen and how I've done others in the past, this sort of webbing is not very good at catching prey. So I'm not 100% convinced that the webbing is there for actually catching. I think they are more of an active hunter, and probably you won't see them in the daytime, but of an evening and of a night time they probably come out and they venture out a little bit along with all the other insects. You've got to remember that we don't see a lot of stuff moving around in the daytime, but come night time, all your little isopods and your bits and pieces, they all creep out of where they've been hiding, and they're all on the move looking for food and what have you. And that is when these guys will end up going hunting, and I think they actively will hunt an area within their range. So they probably, I mean, it would literally be an absolute guess to try and work out how far they actually go. But as with most spiders, if they're living in that type of thing, quite often they will venture out. They won't go far, you know, they might go a meter from that hole, but then that meter will actually provide them with quite a bit of food. And this is one of the other things that's sort of little known about many of these terrestrial spiders and some of the fossorial spiders and things like that. If they was to rely solely on something walking down that hole, most of them would starve to death. So it adds, you know, it seems to me to be common sense that these guys will spread out of a night time. Under the cover of darkness, they will go and hunt. So we have problems with webbing. Now these guys took a good long time. I think the chap that had these, he was saying that they were I think 3-4 weeks before they even started doing anything, and it seemed to be the norm. Everyone that bought them all complained about the same thing. They were all worried that their funnel webs were not webbing. So yeah, an interesting thing. One thing I have found with the funnel webs is they tend to be quite nervous spiders. You know, although they got potent venom, they are quite a nervous spider, and they stress really easily. We lost, you know, the majority of ours through our move, our gigas. Bearing in mind we had quite a healthy population of them, and we lost the majority of them, and we put this down to stress, where they were moved into their boxes, where they were being transported about, changes in different things. They take a little time to settle down, so every time you move them and change them, it all creates another added problem. So what we do now, going forward, we're looking at getting them up and putting them in their forever home, so we don't need to do that again. And now, as you know, we've got our room now, so it means that once they go in there, they don't need to come out again, so we haven't got to worry. But moving them around was absolutely detrimental. Right, so what we're going to do, we are going to set up this 30 by 30 Komodo cube for this guy, or girl rather, this is a female, and we are going to try and sort out a little bit and make it as best we can. So we are literally going to be playing around with it. So what we've got our stuff here. Now this is quite dry, so I'm hoping they don't like it, by all accounts they don't like it as moist as the gigas. The gigas like quite a high humidity. These guys can get away with sort of 50 to 60%, so it stands to reason that they would like a dry area in which to rest, which I'm sure once they start webbing it up they will be able to achieve that, because webbing is quite a good water repellent. Now I'm not expecting this spider to burrow as such, but what I'm hoping is we can create a little bit of a shelf. That's the idea. I say we really are just going to be playing around with this to see where we go, and then if needs be we will change and do something different, but hopefully we can get most of it where we want. I've got a really cool piece of wood here. Now this is nice. Look at this. This is just an old bit of a root that was left stuck on the floor in the forest. I mean, look at that, for shape and everything else. Absolutely wonderful. There's so much we can do with that. It's really nice. So we're going to put that in here, and yeah, so we're going to put that like that. But what we're going to do first, we've got some cork bark here. Now they like, it's said that they like crevices and things in which to hide in, and they also like some dry areas as well. So what I figured we'd do is we will try and make like a base in here. So this is all trial and error, it really is. We are literally just going to play around with this until we get what we want. What I'm hoping for is that we will get, we're going to build it up a little bit. This is the beauty of having a box full of bits. Always keep your bits. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them out, put these bits in there. Now obviously by doing it like this we are actually creating other areas. If it wants to, it will be able to climb down underneath them as well. Alright, so I've got too much soil in here, so I'm going to take a little bit out. Let's just take a bit out. So what I want is, as much as we're going to make this the best environment we can, we also want to make it aesthetically pleasing for us as well, don't we? because we got to look at it. Right, take a bit more. Right, let's see what we can do with that. So we're going to go back in with these. Back in with these. And then what we're going to do now is we are going to layer this. So we're going to put another piece on here, and you can see now, if you look through there, we are creating crevices for this spider to be able to hide away and disappear. That's the plan. That is the plan. And also as well, they will be dry areas. You see? So it'll be nice and dry. Hopefully we'll achieve something like it would have been in the wild. I'm actually wondering whether I'm going to get away with that piece of wood at all. I'm thinking what might be beneficial is if we just build this up with cork, so that it's got multiple places.
What about anchor points?
Well, it won't necessarily need anchor points, because it will be, they will make the tunnels within the spaces between the cork. So we can, I think that's what we'll do. We'll save this bit of wood for something else. And I think we'll build that up a little bit more. So we've got some other stuff here. This is what I love about making enclosures. It's how we can play around with them and literally do all sorts of things. Let's get a bit more. Right. So let's see what we've got. What have we got? Right. So we can try and use some of this. It's almost a shame to break this. This is really quite good stuff. As he delves deeper into his box. Here we go. Here we go. Got lots of bits and pieces here. Right. I think we can literally. So what we're sort of doing is we're sort of achieving a complete area under there that's going to get them all out. Right, you can see now as we're sort of like playing around, what we want to try and achieve. I'm wondering whether we start coming off like so. That might be better. There we go. You see, as literally we're just building it up as we go along, or you could say making it up as we go along, which would be probably more to the point. So hopefully now we are creating lots of little tiny areas within there that will give our spider lots of places to choose from in which to make up its tunnels, and it will be able to move around in there. I think it will do rather well. Right, what we'll do, that'll do it. Yeah. So what we're doing, we're just trying to offer it as much real estate as we possibly can. Put that there. Right. Now we can put a little bit more soil in the bottom. Which means we can also add some moss into here. Because what we've done is we've created a whole dry area, so we can keep the front here moist, so we can get that little bit of humidity that we need. We can do that by here, so we can overflow our water bowl, we can spray our moss, we can help to keep that as nice as possible. And that will give us a little bit more freedom to do what we want to do. So I think what we'll do is we're going to put this water bowl down here, and it'll all depend really on where this girl decides to actually web up as to how effective that will be. So we're going to take this piece off here. Nice lump of moss here. A very interesting thing actually came up the other day, and I'm surprised it's been the first time that it's been mentioned, of recent times anyway. Now you remember when we were in our old place, we actually we done really well with our moss and our plants. We managed to keep things growing really nicely and what have you. Well, we've struggled a little bit here. It's been hard, and moving stuff around has not been the best as well. We struggle a little bit with lighting and bits and pieces. And one of the things that we done recently was we allowed pretty much all of the tanks that were on the shelves. You might have noticed they've disappeared, but we put many of the tanks that are on the shelves had a number of our breeding females of different species. Now many of these females, when it comes time for us to start thinking about pairing up and what have you, many of them we actually dry them out, and we take away the water content, which this time round we literally just dried them out. We didn't worry about the plants or anything, we just too much going on, and so we just literally let them go. And someone commented that it looked like the moss and what have you was dying off. And it was. You were totally correct. And it was funny because I remember when we was making up some of them, some of the ones that we've made up recently, some of the rehouse models that we've done, we made up recently, them ones have been for like permanent homes. So they've gone down into our other room, and they are looked after in a way to maintain that plant. And then what we done with up there, we took the decision to allow them all to dry out so that we could get ready for pairing, because all them females all need to be paired now, and we've moved a lot of them down into the room now. We're not quite ready for filming down there, but we are started moving spiders in there. And so now all of our planted stuff, which is what we really like to do, is our planted stuff, we'll all start again. But yeah, very well spotted, the person that actually commented on that. And it was a good thing, because, like, you know, never be afraid to comment, because there will be a reason behind it. So always make the comment if you think there's something to be said. Right, here we are. Now, as you probably well know, these guys are renowned, as all the Macrothele are, for being exceptionally fast. They are very, very fast. They can be quite defensive too. We don't like to say aggressive, but they can be quite defensive. Now you can see how this one has webbed this up, and this is because it's got no choice to web up apart from doing what it's done. So we're hoping now that we've created this thing here. Hopefully this absolute maze of cork bark will give our spider a more natural home. So what I'm going to do now, our spider is down there. You might just about see a shiny leg. Just about see a shiny leg down there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this out. The funnel webs are not very good at climbing glass, so that is a benefit to us, but she could hold on to this web, which I think is what she's going to do. There she is. Look, she's holding on to the underside of the web. Cheeky girl. Okay, right. Now then, what I'm doing now, I would not suggest any of you guys do. You need to be very, very aware of how your spider behaves and what it does. These guys are quite sensitive to the light. There you go, look at that. Is that not just absolutely awesome? So I'm going to move this over here, and I'm going to try and lean that on there. Oh, don't fall off, girl.
Can you make it a little bit not so like upright?
You do realise what we're playing with here, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
That's better.
I'm glad you think so.
If you can get her to sit, you'll get a lovely photograph for the thumbnail too.
That's what I'm hoping. Right, let me put this on here.
Come up a second, see what you've done.
Just going to put that on the top there now. I'll put that there like that. Where's my phone? And then I am going to try and get a picture. So I'm going to move this around. You might sort of sit there and think, oh, we're taking some unnecessary risks here. But these guys are worth it. Alright.
Just get a nice look at her face.
Yeah, I can move her around. And as I was saying, you do that?
Can you face her up a little? That's it.
Not the easiest thing to do here, you know. Now, as you can see, these guys are very, very similar to the gigas. Very, very similar. Let me just take it off of this a moment so I can bring it down lower. That'll make life a little easier. There we go. So yeah, these guys are very, very similar to the Macrothele gigas. Same shiny black legs. And they've also got very similar in the way their abdomen. They've got the same shaped abdomen, but the abdomen almost looks like a plum colour at certain times, especially when they're getting near to molt. They can go into that sort of plum colour. Really, really pretty. They've also got very long spinnerets on the back, so we can see that. See them spinnerets there? Absolutely huge, great spinnerets. Very, very cool spiders. So I wouldn't, if there's any of you guys out there and you've got your funnel webs and you keep them, you know, don't be tempted to move around like this. we're very, very used to our funnel webs, and also as well, it's something that just in normal spider behavior, you know, we're very in tune with what these guys are doing generally, so we can keep an eye on them. We can tell, we're very aware of what makes them jump, what makes them tick, so we can be very careful. Isn't that just wonderful? Now we have, I say we have 4 of these, and we're hoping we've got 3 females and 1 male. So it'll just be a case of getting that male to maturity. This female, I think, will be large enough at this stage to be able to, for us to be able to breed her. And if she has another molt in the meantime, that'll be absolutely wonderful.
I assume you were just going to carry her over?
Yes, we are going to literally bring her up. This is going to be a little awkward, isn't it? Right, I think I might need to take her off the lid. So what we'll do, so what we're doing now, is she is on this piece of bark. We are going to unwrap that piece of bark from the rest of it. See how she's moving now? She can feel the, there we go. She can feel the different bits moving around. So there you go, look at that. See how she's moving? I'm going to put that there. And we're going to leave her like that. There you go. So that's one very, very simple rehouse. Now,
turn her a little bit for me. Thank you.
Okay. You come right in. You'll lose the background.
Oh,
bless
sorry.
you. Yes. So we're going to put these couple of little bits of bark in there as well. They might just.
Oh, you just put your hand right in front of
Sorry. Sorry, guys. They might just give a little bit of some of her scent and what have you from her webbing. Is she round the right way to you?
Mm-hmm.
You good? Get her face on?
Mm-hmm.
So, just to recap, with these, what we've done here today in rehousing this spider, do not attempt to rehouse your funnel webs like this unless you are really, really happy and confident with them. If you are in any way slightly nervous of them, then do not do what we have just done now. You know, get them in a catch cup, move the catch cup over, do them like that. Much, much safer way of doing it. We get away with much of the things that we do with our spiders because we understand how they move and we know them even as individuals, some of these spiders, you know. So we know that some spiders, even of the same species, can be temperamental. Some can be very, very nervous and defensive. Others can be like puppies in the same species. So we get to know our spiders and what we can get away with. And we also have a very thorough understanding of our behavior from our spiders and also the telltale signs that they give us. Remember, I'm always saying to you guys, our spiders are constantly talking to us. They are telling us all the time about how they're feeling, how they're going to react, what they're going to do. And we just need to recognize those signs, which we can do the majority of the time, you know.
You said they're quite nervous ones. Do you think a tongue feed would be out of the question?
No, you can tongue feed them. We've tongue fed our gigas before, where we can get them and just, because what will happen is with the funnel webs, they tend to hide the way, and then you'll just see that entrance to the funnel web into the tunnel. And sometimes we can literally just get a cricket or a roach and scratch the web, and they will come out, and then they'll grab it from the tongs. They'll take it without a problem. So yeah, you can do it. The thing is with the funnel webs is that they've got a really bad reputation, and this has come around because of the Sydney funnel web, which is a different spider altogether. That is in the Atrax group, which is the only group that spider is, and they obviously have not only medically significant venom, but it's also capable of actually killing a human being. And the Australians have put a huge amount of work over the years into producing an anti-venom, which has been an absolute lifesaver in Australia. So the other interesting thing with them, even like with the Australian ones, the female spiders don't tend to give them much trouble. It's the males. The males are far more potent in their venom. That's much stronger than the females. And also as well, because the male goes off in search for females, he's more inclined to come into contact with humans. And this is why, if anyone ever gets bitten in Australia with a funnel web, 9 times out of 10 it will be through a wandering male who's took up residence in one of their slippers, or underneath a box, and they've lifted the box up and he was there and he's bit their finger or whatever. So the males are the ones that are really dangerous. The females not so bad. Still bad with the Sydney funnel web, but not so likely for you to get bitten by one of them. It's more likely to get bit by a male. So they have a fearsome reputation, but generally speaking, these guys are really quite a nervous spider. You might sit there and think, he keeps saying they're nervous, and she hasn't moved. She is sat there. She is under the illusion at the moment that we can't see her. So she is literally just sat there waiting to explode. If we was to touch her, she would probably just dart off. So we will leave her. She will make her own sweet time, and she can sit there as long as she likes. She may even sit there until the lights go out. And then when the lights go out, she'll start to venture around, and then we won't see her again. She'll disappear. And then all we'll see, hopefully, in a matter of weeks, is the web starting to build underneath all of that cork bark. So I'm hoping we've provided the crevices that the small amount of literature there is stating that they live in. Crevices between stones and roots and things like that. We've swapped our stones for cork bark. It gives us the same effect. So hopefully this will be a really cool little enclosure, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. At the moment, our others, I say, are in these cubes. We'll probably keep them in them for the moment. We'll see how this one goes, and then we can adjust our others accordingly if we need to, or we might get away with just mimicking what we've already done. So yeah, really cool spiders, and lovely to have them back in the collection. We do like our funnel webs. Right then, well, I hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully we will learn a lot more about them. Don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. I'll see you soon, guys.